What's going on, guys? Guys, we got a lot to go over today. Hold on, let me turn this truck off here. We got a lot to go over today, guys. Let me set this camera up here. Here we go. But yeah, guys, man, where should I start? We got a lot to unpack here. I got some bad news here, man. For you guys that don't know, I go to the gym 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. I mean, Friday is a makeup day, but typically, like I said, how my life is scheduled now, like I said, I don't run calls. Nothing is more important between 4 and 6 o'clock, Monday through Thursday for me to go to the gym. So like Friday is an occasional makeup day, but for the most part, guys, like I'm usually at the gym 4 days a week. But man, guys, something bad happened over the weekend. Last Saturday, one of my gym bros told me somebody died, man, at the LA Fitness I go to. Somebody died on Saturday. I guess, like I said, the guy, I mean, I heard bits and pieces, and I essentially heard the same thing from multiple people, but they said the freaking guy tried to bench press. I don't know how much weight. I think it was like 300 pounds or something, but like, it was an older guy, and like, according to the guy that works there, he said that this guy is like a regular gym goer. So like, you got to assume that he isn't like a novice. He's been lifting for a while, but he tried to lift something, and I think he had his kid there to video record him, and I feel like, guys, I hate seeing people get hurt, and I hate seeing people die from like lifting weights. But like, he tried to bench press, and like I said, you guys know how it goes. Like I said, like if you don't know how to properly fail bench presses and how to properly fail squatters, I mean, you need to do your own research. But like, it basically, hit his neck, and like I said, like they tried to like revive him, but he was already gone. But like, guys, like I said, that's a very unfortunate situation. I mean, there's enough videos out here now. You should know what happens. Like I said, if you're doing a weight that you're not sure of, that you can do safely, without a spotter, I mean, guys, it's really on you, like I said, to use fucking common sense. Don't be like, guys, ego lifting is the stupidest thing you can ever try doing, because I mean, guys, like I said, what are you getting out of it? Like for one, guys, you lift weights to be healthy, number one, and you lift weights, like I said, to get stronger. But like, there's a cutoff point to where, like, if you're doing it just to I mean, like I said, if you guys are on that steroid shit, then like, it is what it is. Hats off to you. Do what you do. But like, guys, like ego lifting, like, if you know in the back of your mind that, like, say you can only lift one plate, and you see a bunch of chicks there, you're kind of like trying to create a viral moment, trying to have someone record you. You're out there trying to bench press 400 pounds. Like I said, if you get hurt or you died, and like I said, like, that's on you. Like, me personally, guys, I don't feel sorry for people that ego lift, but like, I really hate, man, like, I hate seeing, death videos from gym, and like, guys, like, there's a million and one ways to die, but the idea of dying from lifting weights, like, I feel like that's the stupidest thing ever, because it's 100% avoidable. For one, learn how to fail safely if you're doing, if you're lifting considerable amounts of weight alone, but like, also get a spotter. Like, don't have no shame in asking for help. For damn sure in the gym, like in a public gym, I mean, if you're going for a weight over a certain amount, make sure, your worst case scenarios is handled. But like, and for you guys that's just getting in, man, I'm just going over some bad news I got, from one of my gym bros. Like, somebody died at the gym on Saturday, man. I think though he tried to bench press like 300 something pounds, and like it hit his neck, and like he died. They tried to resuscitate him, but like, I like shit, guys, like, I mentioned this a bunch of times before. Like, so I had no sympathy for idiots, man, that try to ego lift. I mean, they're everywhere, and I can only imagine if you try to talk some sense into them, that they might try to fight you, or they might try to argue with you. That's why, me personally, guys, I go to the gym for my own personal satisfaction. Like, I get in, I know exactly what I have to achieve, and I get the fuck out. I got a couple of gym bros that I chop it up with, but like, guys, like, I don't have like I don't have a need to overly express myself. Like, ego lifting, like, what the fuck are you getting out of that? For one, you're probably going to use bad technique. And then for two, if you fuck around and hurt yourself, like, you're going to look like a fucking idiot snapping your pec or snapping your elbow trying to squat 800 pounds just for what? Like, guys, like I said, I don't know. Like, maybe that's some young boy shit, but maybe it's not. Because, like, shit, you got grown-ass men that do that. And, I mean, once again, if you got, for you juice heads, if you're out there on steroids, and like I said, your lifespan is going to get cut down, like I said, regardless. But like, guys, like, I really hate, man, I despise seeing people get hurt from the gym because, like I said, no one puts a gun in your head and forces you to put on to try to bench press or squat weight that you're not comfortable with, like. But guys, like I said, man, hope, prayers to his family. Like I said, I think he was a younger guy, like he was like in his 40s or something like that. But like, it's just like, man, come on, man. But guys, with that being said, we got to get into this topic here, man. I thought about this topic earlier this week. I didn't land on it yet, so like, for you guys just getting in here, I want to get you guys' opinion on this topic here. But I'm gonna wait a few minutes here. But what time is it here, guys? Hold on. 11:25. All right, I got some time. So yeah, guys, let's get into the topic here. I thought about something earlier this week, and I'm like, yo, like, with the day and age we in, like I said, we see, millions and millions of different perspectives we may not agree with. We're seeing like everybody's journey. Not to say it hasn't been happening, but now it's a lot more prevalent since everybody has cameras. But like, I was thinking about something, like before I chat GPT'd it, and I spoke with a few people about this. I'm like, yo, it's impossible to get it's impossible to get the data because, like I said, the people that died, you don't know what was on someone's conscience when they died. We only know what people tell us, or, someone left the will or what they wrote down, whatever the case is. But like, I always wonder, guys, like, has everything that comes up, the new inventions, has everything that has been, like, how can I preface this? Like, has every thought, every invention, has everything already been done, but maybe it hasn't been done in a way that like a lot of people know about? Like, has everything that has ever been thought of or could be thought of, has it already happened at some point before? And guys, like, I spoke with someone about this, and he was like, yeah, like, I mean, for the most part, like, everything is all recycled, like, and guys, like I said, this is a loaded question. Like, I don't think there's definitive answers as far as to, if everything we've seen, has it already been done? Like, who's above everybody to say, hey, like, someone tried this 10,000 times, it didn't work. Someone tried this 5 times, it didn't work. Guys, like, I'm a naturally optimistic person. I personally believe that, like I said, and I looked this up with ChatGPT, and like, I mean, ChatGPT was like on the fence about it too. I mean, that's where like you can get paralysis. Oh, my fault, guys. That's where you can get paralysis by analysis, because like with ChatGPT gave me the benefit. I'm gonna keep the phone in my hand. Fuck it. ChatGPT gave me the pros and cons of both. Like, I mean, it gave me like definitive. Like, I mean, you can go back to philosophers. I think, guys, I forgot the guy's name. Damn, I forgot. I was looking at this the other day. There's a philosopher that says that all human beings, we all share the same like intellectual storefront. I don't know what the name of it is, but basically, guys, make a long story short, this philosopher said that like, me being in Pennsylvania, there's another person that's born in Vermont right now. We don't know each other. We'll never run across each other. But that person instinctively thinks the same way I do. But how he or she acts on his instincts and his own or his or her own set of circumstances, they're going to live a totally different life than I will. And I'm like, in a way, it makes you think about it. Like, are we all like really one? I guess I know we're all the same species. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, and like, I seen this a lot growing up, but like, I couldn't put it together until like I got older. You can have, and you guys can vouch for me, for you guys that have been in this. You can have 10 people, male, female, whatever the case is. You can have 10 people grow up in the exact same environment. They can grow up in poverty. They can grow up around, like I said, mothers and fathers on drugs. They can all go through the exact same thing and have 10 totally different circumstances. Some of them could follow in their parents' footsteps, but you could have anomalies happen as well, guys. And like, I say that to say this, like I said, and this is why, like I said, not to go off on a tangent here, guys. This is why I say anomalies happen, like miracles happen every day. You can't quantify miracles. Like I said, when I say miracles, guys, random shit happens every day, but it creates opportunities that you can't plan for. You can only adapt to it after that opportunity happened. But like, I'm gonna give you an example, like prime example, guys. Like I said, that same dynamic, inner city, a person, I'm talking to a newborn baby, his mom or dad or her mom or dad grew up on drugs. Something in them could tell them like, you know what, I don't want this for my life. I'm gonna do something different. But by them doing, like I said, a different thing than what they seen or what they heard, in their mind, they're creating a new dynamic for themselves. And now, guys, like, if, like I said, growing up, now they're gonna tell someone else in the future, like, yeah, like my mom and dad did this, but I chose something different. And like, they may, in their head, they may think that, you know what, this is normal, but like, in the grand scheme of things, like I said, not everybody makes it out of fucked up situations. And like, that's a sad truth. But like, back on what I was saying, like I really believe. I understand that, like I said, you can have people with the same environment, but like I said, everybody is unique in their own way. I don't know how, but like I said, maybe it could be your perspective, maybe it could be, like I said, just your viewpoint, but like I asked ChatGPT this, and like ChatGPT, they basically said the same shit. It was like, I mean, everybody's the same, but they're not. But it wasn't like really a defining answer as to one or the other. But let me look at the comments here real quick. Jasper, what's going on? Meme, okay. Deepak, what's going on? But real quick, guys, like think about the miracle aspect. Like that's why you see a lot of these commercial companies, these cleaner companies, they always say everything's 99% sure, 99% safe. No one can 100% guarantee anything, guys. Like, and that's why I'm telling you, like, it sounds crazy, but like I said, miracles happen every day, and they create different paradigms, different shits. And like, I really believe it's something that we're not thinking about now that's being created, that's being curated, and it's not going to really take into effect until 10, 15 years down the line. And we can't quantify it. We can only quantify based on our own anecdotal experiences, based on, like I said, what people told us. Everybody starts off eventually, like everybody starts off, out the womb, a blank mind, a blank slate. Remember, I told y'all, like I said, everybody's young and impressionable, but as you get older, you curate your own personal perspectives based on what you've seen, based on, like I said, once your brain develops, your prefrontal cortex, once your mind develops, like I said, hopefully it develops, to a positive mind state. But like, if you've seen a bunch of bullshit growing up, you should know what not to do. You should know where certain dynamics lead you. But like, as your brain develops, I think as a man, what is that, 24, 25? Or it could be before that, but I say 24, 25. But as your brain develops, and like I said, you kind of like, you gain your morals, you gain your values, what really matters to you, whether that's honesty, whether that, whatever the case is. Once you gain your values and your principles, like I said, guys, like that's now, congratulations. Now you're the only person that came out of your environment that thinks the way you do. Like, and this is why I tell y'all, like I said, like I said, we can't quantify, and like I hate to take this shit back to thermodynamics, guys, but thermodynamics states randomness. I think it's called entropy, but like randomness, guys. Randomness are things you can't quantify because, like I said, you can't control it and you can't pinpoint it. It can happen whenever, wherever. But like knowing that random shit, billions and billions, guys, of random shit is happening every day. You don't know what those billions and billions of opportunities are creating, and like. I looked this up on ChatGPT, and like, guys, ChatGPT brought up a great point that ties into like my way of thinking here. You know what ChatGPT said about, has every thought that we've seen, has everything already been thought of and done? And like ChatGPT was like, technically, like it depends on like your perspective. There's a lot of similarities, but ChatGPT brought up this. ChatGPT was like, you know what? Think about the music industry. There's only a certain full of notes that can create a song, right? For you guys that like said that's musicians. There's only a handful of notes you can create. But think about it. Not every song sounds the same. Like now, I'm talking like the billions and billions of songs right now that's in circulation. Not every song sounds the same, but they're all made up of the same key notes. And like I said, I don't know about, like I said, I don't read music, but there's similarities in every single song, but the end result of every song could sound totally different. And like ChatGPT was like this. It was like relating the music thing to humans. Like you can put a bunch of people in the exact same scenario, meaning I use the hood as an example. The hood, like I said, someone said this a while ago, the hood is a breeding ground for talent, but that doesn't necessarily mean everybody's going to develop to a point where they can get the fuck out and stay out of negative situations. But that doesn't take away from the fact that, like I said, everybody has potential. But like, back to what I was saying, like I said, with the ChatGPT thing, like, being that, like I said, everybody starts off in the same boat. I mean, I'm telling you guys, like, I tried, like I said, some, like at least two of my gym bros said that, I believe that, everything has already been thought of, like, and like I said, they brought up the cemetery thing, like, and I understand that, guys. Like I said, we'll never know, and that's one thing I agree on with them, like. We don't know what ideas or what inventions people had in their mind that died. And like I said, instinctively, once again, guys, you're in New Jersey, you're in California, wherever you are right now, it's somebody in Germany, somebody in Russia, someone in China. within a couple months thought of the exact same thing you thought of. And once again, guys, you guys never met and you never will meet. Like, how the hell, how do you quantify those dynamics of like two people thinking the exact same thing and like they don't even know each other? Like, and that's not something, like I say, everybody can, you can bring up philosophers. They can have their idea of like the human pool full of like intellect or some shit like that. I don't know the exact word for it, but there's a term for like what connects everybody's way of thinking, even if they don't agree. We all draw from the same like intellectual, dynamics, but like at the same time, like that situation is weird as hell. And I can tell y'all right now, real quick, guys, before I forget, I had this invention. This had to been like when I was 16 or 17. For you guys that don't know, I think it's called Invent Help. Basically, here, and I know someone stole my idea, but like, guys, like it was this had to been when I was like in high school, right? I had an idea of like, it was what the fuck was it? It was an app that can take pictures of a job. Like, I forgot what the fuck it was, guys. But basically, how you can use it, like if you're on a job, you can take pictures. Basically, it's essentially a CRM. Like how for you guys to use House Call Pro, Service Site, and Service Fusion. Essentially, at that time, it was a way you can take pictures of something and like say you can document it. But like, guys, make a long story short, man, like I didn't have it all together. I had an idea, but like I came to them with an idea. I had nothing written down. And the guy was like, yeah, it's gonna be like $5,000. He said it's gonna be $5,000 for you to for us to, like I said, put this in the writing, put a plan together, and like development. I ain't had the money, so I'm like, all right, I mean, I'll probably have to wait on this. But like, guys, make a long story short, exactly 3 years later, like I said, something like the exact same idea I had in my head, someone already put this into like I said, I mean, now there's a billion and one different CRMs, but like that, I really had the idea, like I said, a while back, but I didn't conceptualize it. Like, I was like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if this was here? And like, I literally went straight to Invent Help, guys. Like, I called the number and like I booked the consultation. I told him exactly what I had in mind. He was like, yo, this is a great idea, but you're gonna have to put out, like I said, a lump sum of money up front. And I mean, once he told me 5,000, I mean, I had like then and maybe $5 in my account. I didn't know how much that shit cost. I thought it would be, like I said, once you take the idea, they'll front the seed money. But like, yeah, guys, like I said, that plan came and it left out the door. But like I said, guys, like I'm telling you, I don't fault whoever started, like I said, the CRM thing. But all I'm saying is this, guys, like you'll be surprised at people out in the world, like say, who probably don't even speak the same language as you, don't look like you, y'all will never meet, but y'all have the exact same perspective. Like there's no way to tie these perspectives in. And that's why I tell y'all, like, I don't know what y'all believe in, but like, it's definitely some shit out here that's way past human understanding. Because like I said, guys, us as human beings, we only know what, like I said, we're very limited. I know we're very intellectual creatures, like we're above animals and all that other shit. I'm not comparing us to animals, but I'm saying, like I said, guys, like the smartest human being on the planet right now, Elon Musk, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, that shit is capped off. It's probably somebody out there that thought like him, that probably, like I said, that was a drug addict or some. You guys, you never know. Like I'm telling you, and like I feel like this is the information I want to know, but like this is where, like I said, our curiosity has to stop, because it's not a lot. Like you chat GPT eventually, like it becomes contradictive. If you believe in something, chat GPT can find supporting data, but that doesn't always mean that data is true. So like I said, guys, like my curiosity sometimes it leads to a dead end. But like, I mean, with that dynamic, guys, I want to know what y'all think. Like, do you guys think that every single thing that could be thought of has already been thought of? Like, what do you guys think about that? Because like, I really think you'll be surprised. Some things probably has been thought of, and people steal ideas all the time. Like I ain't saying that, like I said, every single thing you see is original, but guys, like you'll be surprised. Like I said, and I mean, they say everybody's unique, everybody's special, but not everybody get to tap into, what makes them special and do that shit at a high enough level. You get what I'm saying? Because like, and I mean, the negativity that comes with, like I said, trying to be different. I told y'all this in another video. Like, there's downsides to, like I said, being an innovator. You're gonna get hit with criticism, and like I said, I ain't talking just people but like I said, you got to deal with, like I said, the big wigs in whatever industry you're in. Most of the time, what they do is they take your idea, but being that they have more money, like, and think about Amazon. Like, you think another company coming out similar to Amazon? Amazon probably got the money to either stop what you're doing, or they can buy you out, or they can find some type of legal loophole that can buy up all your company, buy up all your customers. And like I said, like this shit happens every time. You get what I'm saying? But like, I mean, I don't call that a corporate monopoly, even though it damn near sounds like it is. But like, I mean, there's a lot of things you got to think about. It has nothing to do with, like, say, your dreams or your goals. Because, like I said, I feel like, I mentioned this before in previous videos. Like, the more you know what to expect, you'll be better off. Like, because, like I said, I mean, you're not going to know everything up front. Foresight is something you only get by trying shit. But at the same time, like, you always got to do your due diligence too. Especially, like I said, if you're committing to something long term, that's going to take a bunch of time. But let me look at the comments here. Zara is where you right. Yeah. I mean, I think about, guys, I think about this random shit all the time. Most of the time I forget it. That's why I don't put it in GMC Talks. Airway, Wavy, utilizing prompts to optimize future AI use as a tool builder. What do you mean by that? But guys, like I said, I want to know what y'all think about this here. Like I said, like with everything that, like I said, and this is where, like I said, these topics, like I have guys, I got other topics to I wanted to go over, but like, unfortunately, like it's too much ambiguity, guys. Like, there's like more than one way you can look at the scenario, like, and like I said, if you guys like, if you like Googling things, I ain't gonna say ChatGPT, but like, even with like Googling things, that could lead you to a dead end, because like sometimes you don't get enough support and evidence. You could get, like I said, a philosopher, like the same thing I mentioned. I don't know the guy's name. I can't pronounce his last name, but like he mentioned, there is, like I said, a way you can connect, what you thought of based on how someone thought before. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like, people be lying all the time too. So it's like, sometimes you don't know what the fuck to believe. So like, and I'm not advocating for you guys to be closed-minded, like, and like I said, I don't want to sound contradictory myself, but like, it's great to, like I said, have information at your fingertips, but sometimes, guys, like, you got to be real careful not to go off on the deep end, because like I said, if you find that one philosopher that tries to, sound too trendy, he might say some bullshit that could get a lot of views, but if you look into his ways of thinking, or her ways of thinking, you might find something that's contradictory, or might even be a lie, But like I said, guys, I want to know what y'all think about this. I really think that, like I said, miracles happen, like I said, every day, like, and that's what I'm telling y'all, like I said, even if I don't agree with how society is now, I know it's going to get better. I don't know when or how that's going to happen, guys, but like I said, I think, like I said, the point of human beings, like I mentioned this a bunch of times, guys, the point of our existence is to improve. Improve to what? Or like I said, how long that takes, I don't know. But like I said, guys, based on how society was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, I don't think it was meant to like stay at that level. And like I said, guys, like you have, like I said, and this is the interesting thing about it, guys. Like, you got babies being born now into fucked up situations that's gonna turn out to be geniuses, guys. Like I said, I don't know, like, and like, I mean, of course, you want to give your kid a good life, like I said, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to phrase this in a certain way, like I said, but guys, miracles happen every time, like, and you can't stop them from happening. So like, that's why, like, can you quantify when it's gonna happen? No, you can't quantify will it happen, because it is, but you can't quantify like exactly, it could, like I said, guys, that's what I'm saying. That's why I encourage you guys, like I said, to just kind of like open your brains up, man, and just like think about shit, like past your way of thinking, because I'm telling you guys, like, I like I said, I know I'm 33. I know we're not gonna see it in my lifetime, but like, I feel like once we figure out how to get past the speed of light, guys, like I said, that's gonna be a good day. But like, I mean, right now it's too many wars going on. Like, you can't get more than like 2 countries to agree on anything. So like, I mean, right now, like I said, how do you about to raise the gas prices up? I mean, it is what the fuck it is. And like, I mean, I'm telling y'all now, like I said, I mean, I gotta speak this into the universe, guys. If I get my hands on like $1 billion, guys, like I said, most of that shit is gonna go towards some random shit. It's like I said, guys, either or, whichever one is cheaper, I'm probably gonna have to build me, like I said, a mechanical Android submarine. I gotta see what's at the bottom of the ocean, or like I said, guys, I might have to strap some chickens onto a rocket that's like powered by hydrogen. I'm gonna take my ass to Neptune. I mean, I can go to Neptune, but like I said, guys, like, I feel like that's where most of our money should go towards, like these nuclear weapons and shit. Like, I mean, think about it, guys. I talk about this with my barber every 2 weeks, guys. Think about it like this, and I hate to bring the politics into it, guys, but it is what the fuck it is. We living in the shithole right now. But like, think about it like this, like, you know how much money we spend on nuclear weapons, and like, I think Russia is testing, like, I don't know how much they spend on like, U.S. and Russia has the most nuclear equipment, or wherever it goes. Like, I know we're the big two, but like, the amount of money we spend on nuclear testing and creating shit, what is that for? Like, and think about it, guys, like, no one wins a fucking nuclear war. Like, look at what happened with Hiroshima, guys. Like, if someone drops a fucking nuke near New York City, forget just about the people dying, but like, what the hell comes out of killing a lot of people? Like, think about it, guys. So like, it's not even in the fact of even using the nuclear bombs. It's not even a topic here. But guys, like, the amount of money that goes into that shit, you can put that into like furthering human dynamics, like shit. And like I said, guys, like, and I mentioned this before, guys. Like, I know the number one killer of people is like cancer. I know there's a cure for cancer, but like I said, like if someone makes a cure for it, like I said, look at the Dr. Sebi thing. If someone makes a cure for something that makes big pharma companies a lot of money, like I said, guys, that person's probably gonna end up in jail or dead. So it's like, because like I said, the big pharma companies, like I said, like it's all a monopoly. Like I said, if you mess up the money too much, you can mess up the money locally. But once you start messing up money on a higher level, like I said, shit always goes wacky. And then I'm like I said, guys, where we should be at, I think, guys, for you, I think this is on Netflix a while back. About I forgot what president this was, guys. I was talking about this the other month. I think back in the day, the president wanted us to explore space. And I think it was a space shuttle, guys. For you guys to know what it is, you can drop it in the comments. There was a space shuttle program that they had like in the 80s. This is way before my time, but basically the president wanted us to explore space. So they put together this program for regular people, non-astronauts, to go into outer space. And like, but unfortunately, guys, like the president was too aggressive. He tried to like create things way too soon. And as a result, what happened, they tried to, this was like, I think they put teachers, they put everyday people on this shuttle. It was like 7 or 8 of them. And make a long story short, guys, like I said, like they tried to, the astronauts that went with those people tried to tell the president or the government, like, hey, it's too cold. Like I said, the oil in this rocket, like the ambient temperature has to be above a certain point. Otherwise, like I said, we may not, we're gonna crash. And like the president, the government, everybody was like, well, NASA was like, you know what, we got to meet this quota. The president says this space shuttle program has to be up and going by a certain time. And guys, make a long story short, NASA fucked around and like I said, they overrid the warnings and like I said, the security cautions. And like I said, guys, like that's what happened. Like I think you guys gotta look this up. I don't know the name of it, but basically 8 people died on a space shuttle. They were supposed to go in outer space, and it was supposed to spark a big phenomenon about sending regular people into outer space just to like further interstellar space travel. But like, guys, that shit blew up in our face because like, for one, like I said, it's a lot of, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of things NASA learned, from like I said, trying to do that shit. But like I said, but guys, like I said, I mean, from that point on, like I said, I feel like, besides Elon Musk sending, like I said, things to Mars and shit, like a lot of people don't really talk about, like I say, just learning more about, learning more about the Earth and learning more about space. It don't really have to be about space, but like I said, guys, it's another thing I learned. I was looking at the other day. I think in Russia, they, I think it's a Bohr project. They tried to drill down to the Earth's crust or something like that, or the Earth's core, and like they got, like I said, like I don't know, they got real far, but they didn't really get real far. But like it got so hot, they tried to drill like a very small hole. I don't know how thick it was, like a 1/4 inch or like a 1 inch. I know it's relatively small, but they drilled like a couple of thousand feet down, and it got so hot that the core, the drill started to melt. And for you guys to do HVAC, like I say, using cone bits and like I said, trying to drill through concrete, you know how it is. If you use the drill bit and the drill bit gets too hot, the drill bit is going to round out, and it's not going to be effective. So like, I mean, that's exactly what happened. But like, I mean, guys, the scary thing about that core project, and the core, I don't know what the name of it is, but the name of that project in Russia, of them trying to drill down to the center of the Earth, like I said, the Earth itself is, like I said, is a mystery. I feel like the less we know about Earth, then like I say, it gets more scary when you go to outer space. Because like, I mean, we got the laws of gravity with Newton. We got, like I said, scientists and shit. We got our $1 billion cameras, guys, that can see things in Nebula B or some other shit. Like, we can see all that shit, guys. But I feel like none of that means nothing unless we can learn as much as we can about like planet Earth. But like, guys, we can't do that if, like I said, everybody's fractionated and we're spending billions and billions of dollars on fucking brand new nuclear equipment. Most of the time, you're not going to use, and if you do use it, then like, what you're going to do in humanity with it is just like I said, guys, I don't know. Like I said, maybe common sense ain't so common, or maybe it's a write-off. Maybe the government is, like I said, they writing off that $2 billion, like I said, to do whatever with. But like, guys, I'm telling you, man, like I said, I mean, you hate to say it, but like I said, I think brilliance skips at least 2 generations. So like, I know the generation before us is getting it, but I think that shit is lost with this generation. So hopefully the next generation coming up within, like I said, 60, 70 years, I mean, hopefully, like I said, they can spark a different dynamic, and like I said, stop this inner politics and fighting and wars and shit. Because like I said, who wins with wars? I feel like the only people that wins with wars are whoever financed it. These oil companies, like I said, you guys heard about the Rothschild family from back in the day. Like I said, those are the only people that win wars, like I said, because like I said, whoever needs the money for equipment and shit like that, those are the people, like I said, that whoever writes those checks, they're going to get their interest back. But let me see how long I've been on here for. 30. Let me look at the comments here. Hey Bones, Chuck Norris. Yeah, I seen a couple of Chuck Norris movies from back in the day. Hey Jada, bro looks 49. You damn right. At least I got healthy blood pressures, baby. I'll take that compliment all day, brother, or whoever the fuck you are. But guys, with that being said, like I said, I wanted to get on here and like I said, I wanted to pick y'all brain about that, because like I said, this, I really think, like I said, these topics, like I said, once again, guys, I thought about this a couple days ago. I wasn't even going to talk about this topic, but I just wanted to get on here and talk with y'all about this topic, man. And like I said, see what y'all think about it. My landing answer on this topic is, like I said, I don't think everything that has been already thought of. I think, like I said, you have to keep that 1%. I think 99% of everything that has been thought of has already been done, but that 1% always changes the dynamic, guys. Like I said, there's always going to be someone, either in the privileged or in the unprivileged environment that could come up with a different way or a different ideal that can change the nature of something, guys. And how that looks, like I said, how effective it's going to be, who knows? It depends on that person. It could be one of you guys, like I said, that can change the dynamic of, maybe how you grew up, or like I said, what you've been accustomed to. And like, guys, someone told me this a while ago, like when I started this YouTube channel, like they told me, like, you got to, and like this is free game for you guys. If you don't already have your own YouTube channel, this is free game for you guys that want to start a YouTube channel. You got to be comfortable telling your own story. Like, I can't imagine, and I'm gonna preface this by saying this, guys. Like, I can't imagine, like, for instance, like I said, you guys already know my story. Like, the shit doesn't change. But like, imagine me being on here and trying to like portray like some shit like, yeah, I got all this stuff figured out. Nah, guys, like I said, I'm telling y'all, all these GMC talks, if you put this shit together, like I said, you're gonna know exactly what's going on. But like, I mean, most of the shit I forget. So like, whatever I remember, it's gonna be on camera, as far as, like I said, with the values and lessons I learned. But like, guys, like I said, no one can tell your story but you. No one know what the fuck you've been through. Even the people you grew up with. Like I said, remember, everybody's perspective on the same topic can be different. But like, that's why I like being authentic to yourself, even if, like I said, you don't get a lot of views from it. Once again, you just being yourself and telling your story. If, like I said, if someone told me right now before I started my page that, yo, you know what, someone can give you $10,000 a month. Only thing you need to do is talk about negativity, talk about trending shit. Like, fuck all that. I don't really, like, for one, guys, I ain't doing this YouTube shit for money. I mean, whatever I get is cool, but like, I mean, like I said, my method of payment is always, in the customer's house. Like I said, I'm not, and like, it is what it is. Like, what I record is like free information, like I said, tips and things like that. But like, I don't take this too serious to a point where like now I'm robotic and like I'm not feeling like I'm not being myself. Like, that's one thing I told myself, guys, when I started this channel. I came into this game being myself, and I'm gonna lead the game being myself. I'm not gonna be, like I said, and like I said, at whatever that comes with, good or bad, that's what it comes with. But like, guys, like, being original, like I said, that gives you creativity. Like, I don't like that's, and like I said, everybody knows someone, or you probably see it online, creators that get burnt out because, like I said, they're stuck in a certain narrative. Now, you've been talking about bullshit and negativity so long, you can't even talk about positive things, even if you agree with it. Like, guys, like I said, I mean, negative things will get you a lot of views and like whatever, monetary shit. But like, I mean, long term, like, who gives a shit about the money? Money comes and goes. You get what I'm saying? If that's your primary focus, then like I said, guys, eventually, like I said, you're not gonna be in control of your own destiny. And we all know how that goes, guys. Like, shit. But guys, like I said, with that being said, that's some free game for y'all. Like I said, if you're starting your own channel, make sure you guys are, like I said, just telling your own story. Be authentic to yourself. And like I said, I think in due time, like I said, all the dots will connect. That's how it's supposed to be. But with that being said, guys, it's been 30 minutes. I'm about to get up out of here. Let me look at the comments here. Santa Angola. You saying you're in Luanda, Angola? Santa, I'm looking at your comment here. Chuck Norris went to... Hey, Corin, you got to talk in the complete sense. What you mean Chuck Norris went to kill death? You say he died, or what? I'm going to give you some time to rephrase that. What do you mean? And like I said, for you guys to have any other questions in the comments, like someone camp out for a few minutes. Like I said, I got like another 10 minutes to hang on the mob with y'all. But guys, man, I'm definitely, I can't wait. My top, I'm gonna wait for y'all to get back in here. I got what I'm at right now on my squat. I'm on I got a week 4 coming up, or is it a week 5? I think it's week 4. But guys, my week 6 of this current squat block is 470. Well, like I said, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit. How I feel right now, I really feel like I can squat 500 pounds right now. But like, I was talking to my gym bro about this shit. Like, I mean, it's hard to explain, guys. Like, when I was at a bigger weight, I'm talking like for, you guys that lift weights, when I was at a bigger weight, not to say I wasn't using technique, but I used a lot of brute strength. Like I didn't, like, since I was like bigger, like I had a lot more assistance to help me, muscle out certain things. But like as I lost weight, that's when I realized like you got to reform things. You can't just rely on the weight feeling good all the time. You got to struggle under a barbell. And don't confuse this with what I said earlier. Like I said, make sure you guys are using proper technique. And if you need a spotter, call the spotter beforehand. Don't wait until, shit goes left and you kill yourself. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, like I said, like, last year, 2 years ago, you guys seen, like I said, everything on the Driscoll list. I mean, I was down there, like I said, so I was having fun. I didn't have a desired goal with the weight, but like, so I was having fun. But like, as I lost weight, I wanted to, like, say, look good and still be considerably strong. I mean, as I started losing weight, that's when I started realizing, like, yo, like, I mean, there's going to be a trade-off here, Maybe I won't be able to lift as much weight, but like I said, like the fact that, for one, I'm healthy, I don't really care about the looks. The health is the biggest thing for me. As long as, like I said, I'm helping my heart out, my blood pressure is low, cholesterol is low. I'm not increasing my blood pressure. Now you're at risk of diabetes, stroke, like fuck all that. As long as I'm not in that dynamic, I can always make the most out of my current situation. So like, guys, right now I'm at 321, 322. I mean, at some point next week, I know I'm going to be in the 319s, which is a great milestone. But like, once I get to 300, I mean, I feel like that's definitely going to be a huge checkpoint for me. Because like I said, at that point, I'm going to, reassess things. Like, because like I said, guys, right now, man, I'm losing a lot of weight around my waist. So like, guys, none of my pants are fitting. I mean, it's a good problem to have. But like, my shirts, everything I wore last summer is already too big now. So like, shit, I'm at the point, guys, where like, man, I mean, like I said, buying new clothes is not the issue, but like I'm at the point where like I'm very interested, like I'm very curious to see, how I scoped it. Like, so I'm trying to see the cuts at 300, but if I don't see the cuts at 300, I may have to like, after I get the blood work checked out, I'm gonna probably revisit this at like 280. And like I said, because like, I mean, just like for my height, guys, like I'm 6'6" and I'm 33. For my height, they're saying like you should be at 250, but like 250 may be like a fucking skinny prayer. I've never been 250 in my life, or at least not without me knowing. So like I said, guys, I don't remember having a six pack. I was always a bigger guy. So like, all I'm saying is like, I get that's the recommended weight, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, like I said, my blood pressure is okay. At that point, I'm gonna tone up from there. But like, I'm not really trying to get crazy with this shit, and that's my biggest concern is I don't want to get, too skinny. And like I said, now like. Because like I said, guys, I heard it, and I'm not sure if I told you guys this. I heard a crazy story from GNC. Speaking of GNC, I got to go back there to get more pre-workout probably within the next couple of weeks. But guys, there was one of my boys at GNC. He was telling me this African dude, one of his boys, he was in the same scenario I was in a couple years ago. And he was like, this motherfucker lost hella weight, but he wasn't tracking his calories. He lost a lot of muscle too. Like, he was basically fat and he turned real skinny. And that messed him up in the head because, like I say, he wanted to like be somewhat like, he wanted to maintain muscle. This guy told me that like this motherfucker lost weight like probably 3-4 years ago, but it took him like 2 years to start gaining muscle back, and he's still real skinny. And I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck did he do? Was he like on some type of medication? And the guy was like, nah, like he was doing just like a bunch of cardio, but he was like, sometimes, like I said, once you go from fat to skinny, it's hard to gain muscle on, versus like if you go from fat to like smaller, if you keep your protein intake up, even in the calorie deficit, if you keep your protein intake up, that's going to help retain, like I said, a bunch of muscle versus, like I said, I mean, that's a scary situation to be in. Like I said, starting from real big, going to real small, and now from going to real small, you got another step. You're trying to gain muscle. I mean, you should have been, paying attention to your protein intake from the get-go. So, like, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, this, everything I'm telling y'all, like, I mean, this is stuff I'm going through every day. So, like, in regards to, like, macros is the only thing that's going to make sure, like I said, muscle growth, maintains. I'm not going to say all of it is going to be there, because, like I said, you will lose some muscle as you lose weight. But all I'm saying is, like I said, guys, once you get to, like, your desired weight goal, I feel like the maintenance aspect is different from, like, the weight loss aspect. Because, like, my 1890 calories I'm consuming per day, eventually that's going to stop once I get to, like, my desired weight goal. But like I said, guys, my cholesterol, like my day-to-day cholesterol, is definitely lower than, like I said, normal, which is good. I mean, like I said, I'm getting my carbs in, but it's a lower carb meal. It's like, if I pull this up, it's going to take me off the live. But like I said, my daily macros, not just protein, carbs, and fat, but like I said, my cholesterol, everything is definitely in fiber. I'm getting my fiber in. Everything is definitely, like, on point, but it's relative to, like I said, my current goal of, like, losing weight. But like I said, guys, one side, we start going to the next level. And like I said, guys, everything I'm talking about, I'm gonna make sure I record, because like I said, at some point I'm gonna probably reshare this. Once I get to my goal, I'm curious to, like I said, based on where you guys already know, look at my videos from a year plus ago. Like, you guys saw how big I was. Now, like I said, guys, like, I'm definitely excited. I was telling the customer this yesterday. Like, that's just how discipline works, guys. Like, the shit I do now that I don't even think about, you couldn't pay me to do this. You couldn't pay me to do this, like I said, 2 years ago. Like, my discipline wasn't there. Or maybe I was disciplined, but I wasn't disciplined at a high enough level to provoke, like, any change. But, like, guys, like, I'm telling you, man, when I used to do, if you guys look at my early GMC or my early Driscoll list, when I used to do, I used to go walking in the park. This is before I got the treadmill at home. And, like, guys, every time I did 10,000 steps, man, my ankle, like, my knees, my calves, everything will be burning. But, like, now, guys, like I said, I did 10,000 steps this morning. I do 70,000 steps a week, but I only needed 2,000 steps. I was at 68,000 steps on Thursday. I only needed 2, and I got 10 this morning. And, like, I got an incline treadmill, but I don't really need the incline. I just keep it flat for, like, 80 to 85 minutes. Sometimes it can go up to 88, but, like, basically I say 80 minutes. 80 minutes on the treadmill was like 10,000 steps for me. And once again, guys, like, how you beat the 80 minutes, it's not really, I mean, if you think about it by itself, it is tedious, but, like, like I said, how your setup is, you can listen to music, learn Spanish, learn a different language, like I said, or you can play, like I said, you can play the game, play 2K, play Madden while you're on the treadmill. Guys, whatever it is, like I said, I mean, it got to a point. I did what I had to do in order for me to make it normal, guys. Now, 10,000 steps is just kind of like, is a requirement. That's part of me, getting my day started. So, like, now, like I said, it's not as tedious, it's not as strenuous. And like I said, guys, like, that's how I know that I'm going to definitely be close to where I need to be, like, relatively soon. So, I'm telling you guys, like, the shit I'm telling y'all now, like, I didn't always think like this. It took, the situations happening to me for me to understand, like, hey, like, I can't keep doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result if I want, like, more for myself. You get what I'm saying? But, guys, with that being said, I got to get my weekend started. Today is going to be nice, but I think it's going to rain tonight. But with that being said, guys, I want y'all to prioritize your health. And like I said, guys, stay out the way, Stay on top of your finances, stay on top of your health, and stay on top of your spiritual believing, keeping your energy right. I hope this week turned out well, but like I said, guys, most importantly, just make sense out of whatever you got going on. And like I said, keep chipping away at it day by day. But guys, I got to get up out of here. Keep rocking and rolling. I'll see you on the next one. Hey.